Welcome to School It.
This is season 2, episode 4. Here's the high-tech sign coming in and out. School It season 2. Welcome back. Another episode.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. I like you have some new East Shore swag and signage behind you, Mr. Pacelli.
Yeah. So we got an amazing cutout of our East Shore Dolphin and our logo. You have the same thing right over your left shoulder, so I don't know why you're acting so surprised.
No, I know, but
we have a hashtag that says the East Shore Way stuck in the tree here. Looks pretty amazing.
But in the tree, very creative.
Yeah.
All right. So what another amazing week here at East Shore Middle School.
I'd agree.
Try to think of some highlights of being in the classroom. We were in a lot of science classrooms, I think, over the past week.
The bath bomb.
I'm sorry?
The bath bomb experiment.
I was just going to say that. And I was thinking, what stands out to you? And I don't know, to me, it was all about the bath bombs. And the kids, they loved that.
Yeah, I would say to me, it was the just the degree of decoration that we're seeing with the teachers and their carts. So I think, as all parents know, the kids stay in the room and the teachers are moving around the hallway. But I got to say, and I'll show a couple pictures, their cart decoration, they've taken it to a whole nother level. I mean, it's almost like you can name that cart, or name that teacher by the cart.
Amazing.
It's very personalized. It's cool stuff. But yeah,
I noticed Mrs. Casey even coordinates her cart to match her clothes. Today it was turquoise. Very impressive.
I noticed that too. Very fashionable too.
Very cool. But a lot of great things happening. I don't know if you saw yesterday, Mrs. Stevens, even a distance learning day. Kids were finding algorithm using a grilled cheese sandwich, which I thought was pretty creative and really cool. And the kids got so into it. That's
really creative. And I think coming up, parents are going to get to know a lot more about what's going on in the classrooms, aren't they?
Right. So October 6th is our open house. A little different this year because it is virtual. So we're not going to have staff or families in the building. But it's still going to be really engaging, and I think a great opportunity for kids to sit with families and get to know their teachers and get to know kind of what's happening in the classroom. So I think that's going to be a really fun night for families.
I totally agree. And I think it'll be, although it's going to be different, it's going to be less stressful. So typically in the past, you'd have to arrive probably an hour before to get a parking space. You don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's a good thing.
That's true. That's true. And I do like the whole pre-recorded video piece, I like that.
Yeah.
All right. And so I think too, the kids are really into the routines and the procedures. They seem like they've been doing this for years. The mask wearing and the 6 feet staying apart, the 6 feet. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. And I'd say both in school on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, but also on Wednesdays too. I think the majority of kids are getting used to that distance learning piece. But you're right. In school, they're doing a great job knowing the routines and the procedures. But I'm hearing that Wednesdays, the distance learning piece is getting slowly better, but it is getting a little bit better each and every time. There are still some tech issues, and we're trying to work on that. So, and we're talking to kids. We went into some classrooms today. Kids were sharing some of their experiences and kind of what's happening. So this is something that we're trying to work on and improve. So
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to share that same sentiment that if you are having tech issues at home, please know we're flexible and understanding. So are the teachers.
Yep.
Please reassure your child not to panic. Like we totally get it. It was the 3rd distance learning day yesterday. Today was day 10 of having kids live in our building, and it has been so wonderful. And your kids have been absolutely amazing. It makes us so happy to welcome them every single day into the building. And I think they're enjoying it. I think they're figuring out ways. They're figuring out ways to engage with their peers, even wearing a mask and 6 feet apart. So we're grateful for everything that you're doing at home to support that and make their East Shore Middle School experience a successful one.
No doubt.
What else is happening? Like I noticed something new outside the cafeteria. Did you notice that outside?
I noticed that. That just kind of happened this week. You want to describe it?
I think we got a tent, right? So we finally got a big, huge circus tent.
And why did we get a tent, Mrs. Carlson?
We got that
for our science program?
No, our music program. So our band. So have you seen any of the band performances here? This question's for the families, not for you, Mr. Pacelli. But if you've had an opportunity to see any of our music performances here, you're in for a real treat. It's absolutely such an enjoyable, incredible experience, and really exciting when you see all of our kids come together. But with that being said,
I have a treat for you, Mrs. Carlson.
Really?
I have a special guest lined up that I think is going to be able to shed a little bit more light on that tent. Do you want to guess who that could be?
It's got to be one of our music teachers.
No doubt. Mr. Bocha.
Yay!
Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you guys so much for having me on today. I feel like I'm like on the Daily Show. This is like amazing.
Well, we want to welcome you to the show. We know that you've been, teaching for a while. This has got to be probably like your 25th year, thereabouts.
11, but you're close.
Or 11. So 11 or 20. You're seasoned, though. So that's why I went with that 25, because you don't teach like you've been around 10, 11 years,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But you've seen a lot over the years for sure. And I'm sure you'd agree that this year's a little bit different than most. So maybe, I think people would like to hear from your point of view what's different and kind of what's the same in 2020, 2021.
Sure. Well, I think it's also important for families to understand and realize, which I think some of them do, that the band program this year almost was not able to happen because of all of the restrictions that were placed on us from the state, which are, legitimate, restrictions. Just we want to make sure everyone is safe.
Yep.
So the band program almost was put on pause for now, but it was through the help of administrators like we have at East Shore Middle School and our supervisor, Amy Paris, who fought to and who appreciate and who recognize the what our band students do and the level that they get and really what they're learning, and they realize the value of that. So because of that kind of fight, we were able to at least have our half-an-hour lessons, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. So I think that that's really important for families to kind of realize that, we really value it here at East Shore. I know that the families do. I know that the faculty does. It's really become, a pride of our school, our music department. So I think that is amazing, and I think that that's super awesome. So that is something that it has remained the same, is the pride that we have in our music students and the pride that we have for our music programs. It obviously looks a little bit different. I mean, I'm outside in the tent teaching my kids, but that has been, it's a learning experience for all of us. It's actually been kind of nice. It's been nice to have some fresh air as we're playing our music. It's a little bit harder to hear each other 12 feet apart, but we are learning and we're making it work. The first day I took my cart outside, it was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be such the best day ever. And I have my first lesson. I go to get my second group of lesson kids. I come back and the wind had blown my cart into 5 million directions. So that was clearly something that I didn't do the next day. So it's things like that we're all, we're learning and we're getting used to the situation. But the best thing about it, my favorite part is the FaceTime that I have with my students and the actual playing of music. I feel whole again. I feel like myself when I'm in front of my kids and when they're playing and when we're learning rhythms and when we're learning notes and when we're practicing our exercises. It feels like I never left. So for sure, that's my favorite part about the start of this school year.
And that's obvious, we could tell, because you're your happiest, I think, when you're in front of kids and with instrument in hand. I know that we've witnessed that firsthand, and we're grateful for everything you've done. I was going to share the story about the papers blowing away, but Mr. Bocha every day setting up and bringing in chairs and lugging chairs back in at the end of the day and doing it with a smile. Yeah, so thank you. So with that being said, can you share with families a little bit about how the music program is working this year? I know it's a little different from the past, but we're making it happen.
Sure. So all of the students are taking a general music class. In addition to that, the band and the string students are able to have instruction on their instruments. So we have a half an hour once a week. We're able to pull the kids in cohort out of half of their core class. We're able to pull them for a half an hour lesson in a designated location so that they can still get time on their instrument, and then we bring them back to their class for whatever the other, either the second half of the class or the first half of the class, whatever part we pulled them out for. They'll have the other half of their class. And that will rotate week to week through a rotating schedule so that we're not pulling them out of the same class twice in a row. Which I think, we always we're trying to work as a team and work with our colleagues so that we, are maximizing our students' instruction time. So that's the way that it's working this year. And everything will be in Google Classroom in terms of their assessments. And I've been personally uploading all of their music into Classroom. So if they lose their sheet, they can print out another one. The syllabus is in there. Like I said, their music, their assignments, everything is going to be found in that Google Classroom there for them, so that they know what they're practicing throughout the week. And then I check in with them for their half-hour lesson on their lesson day.
How have the kids responded with the change?
I think that they're a lot more resilient than I am. I feel like that they're pretty much on board. I'm seeing a lot of eager faces, when it's time, when I show up, they grab their instruments and they're ready to go. And I think that they're really appreciative that they still get to play, because really, that's why they are in band. They like to play music, so I think that they're really appreciative. And I think that they've done an amazing job kind of adjusting. I mean, it's not as long of a time, if I was greedy, I would love to be able to pull them more than once a week, but
we know.
I know. But I like I said, I am very thankful and grateful that I do get the FaceTime with my kids. And I think that they're thankful for that as well.
Aren't they?
I'm curious about, we do have the best kids. I'm curious about the reaction to the 10. So let's think about it. Week 1, there was no music. They're just kind of hearing about what it's going to be like. Week 2, they're outside. So that must have been an adjustment. And then week 3, they come outside and there's this humongous 10. What did they say? What was their reaction? Did they think it was a circus? Were they like, this is for us, Yeah,
again, I just think they were like, oh, it's a 10. That's great. Let's get our instruments out. They just want to play. They thought it was awesome. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure they thought it was cool, but they were kind of just like, my focus right now, I got to get my instrument out. It's time to play.
I love it. I love it. Talk to us a little bit about what you do outside of school in your free time. What are your hobbies and interests? Anything to share with our learning community?
We know you're a phenomenal music teacher. I just don't want people to think that that's all you do is sit in the dark when you get home and plan music. There's more to Mr. Bocha.
Yeah. Right? So I definitely am very into health and fitness. So I work out 6 times a week. So it's a stress relief for me. It's a time to kind of disconnect from my other job, where I get to kind of have some me time and to kind of just focus on relieving stress and centering myself, so working out and fitness is really important to me. I like to cook. So on days when I have a little bit of extra free time and I want to kind of make a special meal, I'm one of those kinds of cooks that I don't really ever follow a recipe. I learned cooking from my mother and she learned from her mother. So it's kind of like we pass things down. So I just kind of enjoy, I know what flavors I like together. And I enjoy, experimenting with different recipes, but just kind of this is what it should look like and taste like. And if it doesn't, you add this. That's my cooking philosophy. So I enjoy cooking. I enjoy being outside. Those are probably the two biggest things that I get to do. And I just enjoy being with people. So any chance I get to either spend time with family or friends or, I just like being with people.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're grateful that you're a part of our learning community. And I know our kids and families are really grateful as well. So we get the pleasure of seeing these kiddos come in with really little musical experience and see them in small groups and classrooms, and then you put these amazing programs together where you bring everyone together and magic happens. I think it's one of our favorite times of the year, Mr. Pacelli and I, is those winter concerts and the spring concerts, and to see the kids really have an opportunity to get up there and perform together as a whole group. And what you do with these kids is truly amazing.
Thank you. I definitely can't wait to have those experiences back again. So we're looking forward to it. Yeah.
Us too. Well, thank you so much for being with us today and joining us on School It. And to our families, we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much.